Today, as you and I are recording, it's the first time we've actually been able to talk and hang out and communicate and commiserate about the big news. The Anderson legacy continues. Brock Anderson just made his AEW debut last week, and man, I was so excited watching it. I couldn't help it. I had to text the whole family. I was freaking out. I knew it was coming eventually. I didn't know it was coming that quickly. And man, what a showing he had. I can't imagine how proud you and Mrs. Anderson were seeing all that go down.
Yeah, I'd be a liar if I'm, just stuck out my chest and went, hey, he's Anderson, it's business as usual. Well, that's all bullshit. I was a proud papa.
You should be.
I was beaming. I didn't know, we spent that day mostly separate. I didn't want to be pounding any ideas into his head. And I was nervous and trying not to show it. He was, if he was nervous, he wasn't showing it to me or anybody else. And that's what scared me. I'm thinking, well, is he that confident in himself or what's going on here? Or is he went blank? Because it could be, that's two different looks that look exactly the same. But no, he went out and I was very proud of him. That was his first legitimate match. He's had some matches in training that are 6-8 minutes, just in front of no people, just training school. But, man, I tell you, he held his own and I'm very proud of him. And I think AEW is going to be a perfect fit for him, and he's going to be allowed to make some mistakes, which he's going to make.
Of course.
But that's how you learn. So good news. It was a great week. Plus, we just got back from my most famous place to vacation, besides Aruba. I have to say that. But we were down in Pensacola, and the beach was beautiful. Water was beautiful. It was a great week.
Well, it was a great week as a wrestling fan too. It was so cool to see him and just know sort of the backstory. And I couldn't help but think about what you and I've been talking about for this last several weeks here, just how you get started and you're cutting your teeth. And I mean, you wrestled for a long time before you were in a featured spot on national TV. Sure, you had some brush up opportunities as an enhancement guy, quote unquote, working underneath. But to come out and have your very first match on national TV and get the win, I can't imagine the pressure. And by the way, when you were doing it, you're doing it as Marty Lundy, who didn't necessarily have this great legacy in the business, but the pressure from Brock's standpoint of he's got big shoes to fill, your big shoes. And it's not like he's able to go hone his craft in private. He's doing it and everybody in the world is watching. Crazy pressure on him, and he pulled it off and did a great job. And man, it was high fives all around here in Huntsville. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. You've kind of become a member of the family, and you've been, through this whole process with us. We've talked about it every time we speak, just about, and I appreciate your support as long as, Brock's holding his end up. I think AEW will be happy that we made that choice. And man, it's just all positives. It really is all positives. And you're right. My debut on TV was as me getting squashed in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It was the needle is as far over here as Brock's debut was over here. It was, it was like the old days, when you were going to bring a guy in and use him properly because you had faith he could bring something to the company. That he was brought in like a star. And I think AEW did a great job of all that. That looking in the mirror gimmick, you saw that, right?
Outstanding. I think it's one of the coolest things AEW has pushed out there. Fantastic photo.
Yeah. And I'm like you, professionalism really makes me sit up and go, wow. That was as professional as you could get in Hollywood or anywhere.
Yep.
Who, thumbs up to whoever did that. It was a spectacular piece.
This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to Arn And of course, we couldn't do it without the Hall of Famer himself, the founder of the Four Horsemen, the creator of the Spinebuster. He is AA. He is the enforcer. He's Arn Anderson. Arn, how are you, man?
I'm great. I would first start by saying, because I know how your day's been and I know how your part of your week's been, thank you to the hardest working man in showbiz, and that is you, sir. And I don't think we thank you enough, so thank you for all you do.
No, man, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and I'm just pumped every time we get to record, and today's going to be no different. You know, last week we threw out the rule book and we brought on a very special guest to sort of wrap up your story in Southeastern, and we're ready for the next chapter today, or we'll be talking about Jim Crockett Promotions. But before we do, we've got a little business to tend to. Number one, AEW is back on the road, and it's been announced that you guys have the first official post-pandemic sellout. The big event you're having in Texas, I guess night one of Fyter Fest, is already completely sold out. And JR tells me that the advance for Charlotte is the best it's ever been. Everywhere you look, man, it looks like it's good news for AEW. And if you want to see these guys in your neck of the woods, AEW Tix is the place to pick up your tickets, right, Arn?
Absolutely. And, you know, I've said all through this pandemic, I can't wait till these rabid AEW fans get back in the arena, because, man, they're stars themselves and they show their ass and raise hell, and I love it. And it's so great giving them back the product that they've been waiting to see. And, man, AEW is up and running. It's just going to get better and better. I have no doubt.
It really is a great time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, I can't imagine what it's going to be like being in some of these crowds. So don't miss it if you haven't already. It's AEWTix.com. And hopefully one of these days, we're going to see some more matches from the next generation of Anderson. And I hear that you've got a little housekeeping you want to do with regard to Mr. Brock right now.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. I was really nervous before Brock debuted, and I didn't know in my mind if he was ready. He knew 100%. And it wasn't doubting his ability or his passion or the time or work that he put in, but man, debuting on Dynamite when you've never had an official match is a pressure position. And I was just scared to death the pressure was going to get to him. It didn't. And I just want to thank a lot of people that have made him feel welcome, giving him a lot of positive reinforcement. A lot of veterans that work for that company, which they didn't have to do, have pulled him aside, gave him some tips, gave him some really positive thoughts. And I just want to thank everybody. I think the company has welcomed him with open arms, and they're going to be glad they do. I just want to say thank you on behalf of myself.
That's very sweet of you. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.